Welcome to day 2. Today's intro flow video is going to discuss training zones and the content feed. So let's start with the training zones. If you open up your workout description for today's bike ride and you scroll down to the bottom, you'll notice some of those metrics that we defined yesterday. You'll notice how the workout is built using like cycles of a build plus a base effort. You'll see those there. There's the reps and the duration of each interval that we discussed yesterday. The RPE, your effort on a scale of 1 to 10. Important to note that's subjective. It depends on what you have to give on that day. And then next to RPE, we skipped this yesterday, but you'll see zones. And those numbers are correlated to numbers that you'll see down at the very bottom that are tied to, you'll see like 1.0 recovery, 2.0 base, 3.0 tempo, and there's a color with them. So this is a feature of any data-backed training plan. And you can think of training zones like you would think of punctuation in a paragraph. Good training is specific. So that means it's intentional. And the workouts are designed to target different zones within your body. So we can know what we're improving, because as the old saying goes, if you shoot for everything, you miss everything. Now, we'll get into more detail of these zones, and I'm going to share a spreadsheet that defines these zones in a little bit more detail in the content feed today. But I just want you to recognize that we are using these training zones. They're tied to these colors, which you'll learn as we go. And these numbers, like you'll see on the build efforts, it says 3.5 to 5.2 power, 2.5 to 3.5 BPM or beats per minute. So if you're using a power meter on the bike, that 3.5, if you look down at the chart, you see tempo effort is 3. So it's like a medium tempo effort to 5.2 power all the way down to VO2, just like the lower end of VO2. So you can think of it as a scale of, if we're talking about a threshold effort, a 4.0 would be just barely threshold. 4.9 would be the top of that threshold zone going into the VO2 zone. Again, we'll get into more detail on the zones. It's not important to know everything that they mean right now. The point of this intro is just to familiarize yourself with that idea of zones and understand that training zones are like punctuation in a paragraph. We have capital letters, we have lowercase letters, we have periods, exclamation points, all that stuff to give it structure and to organize otherwise just normal words into a flow that we can understand. That's kind of how we talk to our body with these workouts. Threshold workouts tell our body to do one thing, while recovery effort workouts tell our body to do another. And if we're not intentional with those efforts, then our body doesn't know what to do with it and it just gets tired. And that's what we want to avoid. So we want to be intentional with our efforts in these sessions. And zones help us do that. Now, if you click out of your workout and go back to the main menu where you see a big calendar, like one you'd see on your wall, you'll see across the top it says dashboard, calendar, inbox, content, athletes. This is focusing on the content. You can click that content feed and you see there's already a couple of short like welcome articles in here, and you'll see a link to, I guess you'd call it a thumbnail for it says Dito zones. For those who don't know, I'm Dito. That's kind of my nickname. It's what my daughters call me. But so Dito zones, and I have some descriptions in there and some keywords that you can think about. so as you gauge your effort to target each of those zones as the workouts ask for them. So that's going to be a useful spreadsheet for you. So print it out, put it on your bathroom mirror until your partner tears it down and says you're crazy, or keep it somewhere safe that you can reference because we'll want to learn them.